Sir, how would you describe today's trial na itinuturing ng ilan na naging feisty kasunod ng naging argumento ni Attorney Kapunan at Attorney Christine Ferrer kung saan nag-intervene pa nga si presiding officer at nananawagan na itemper ang mga salita amid the generational divide sa dalawa?
Well, una, hindi naman yan uncommon yan dahil nga talaga dun sa nature ng ganitong klase. They are adversarial proceedings, no? Dahil merong ibang magkaiba, no, na pinaglalaban na punto ng dalawang panig. So, hindi naman ibig sabihin yan na nag-aaway talaga. But that's really normal, no? But siguro makita naman natin, no, yung sabi nga ni Attorney Kapunan, nung simula, pinipilit niya, no, na maging more patient, no? But nadala na din siguro yung fact na sinabi naman niya, no, dahil nga dun sa naging actions din, no, nung defense, pagdating dun sa for example, yung magmula dun sa pre-trial, they've been adamantly refusing yung request to just compare documents hanggang nagkaroon na nga ng kautusan galing sa presiding officer, no, na hindi pa rin ginawa. So, syempre, those things add up. But end of the day, it's really nothing that's out of the ordinary. Nangyayari naman ho talaga yung mga ganong sagutan minsan.
Siguro, bago sa follow-up, no, gusto ko lang linawin yung, siyempre, they were complaining really about yung pong exchange, particularly doon sa sagot po ni Attorney Ferrer na relating to misleading questions, hindi ba? But, you know, the transcript is very clear. Hindi lang naman ho kami inside the trial, yung pong nakapanood po nun. Everyone else here and the public itself was able to see it, hindi ba? And the transcript is very clear. Never mind if you're on cross. There are limits to cross-examination. Misleading questions are not allowed on cross. That was Attorney Kapunan. And what did Attorney Ferrer say? They are allowed. So, ibig ko po sabihin, wala akong pwedeng sisihin yung pong depensa dito, except yung mga sarili po nila, mga kaibigan. Kasi, kung very sharp to the draw, yung pong defense on the conversation and the tit for tat during the trial itself, Ms. Ferrer would know na hindi ho yun yung dapat niyang sinagot nung pong panahon na yun. But Attorney Sison wanted to provide context, then that was the context that she wanted to provide. But again, going back to the transcript itself, the reply of Ms. Ferrer to Attorney Kapunan was, it was allowed, relating to, basically responding to misleading questions. So, everyone was basically understanding na tungkol po doon sa misleading questions po, yung sagot ni Attorney Ferrer. Hindi ba? So, kumbaga, do not gaslight the nation that kasalanan po ni Attorney Ligutan kung bakit ho pumutok sa mukha po ng depensa ito pong bagay na ito. They should have been quick on the draw. They should have clarified that she was answering not the question on misleading statements or misleading questions, but on something else. Dapat ginawa na niya yun noong umpisa pa lang.
Sir, you're not buying the explanation of Attorney Sison dun sa korte kanina.
No, it was the job of Attorney Ferrer to basically clarify what she was actually replying to. Hindi ba? Pwede naman niya sinabi yun eh. Di ba? Ano naman ho siya? Sabi niyo nga, feisty ho yung exchange. No? I think she can hold up to Attorney Kapunan. Hindi ba? But she did not make that clarification there and then. Why did she actually have to wait for Attorney Sison to provide the context for the record? Hindi ba? When the exchange was very clear. Hindi po ba?
Alright, any follow-up?
Last po. Sir, reaction lang po sa naging pahayag ni dating Chief Presidential Counsel Attorney Panelo. Sinabi niya na dapat magpahinga na po si Attorney Kapunan following the argument kanina po. Magpahinga na po si Attorney Kapunan. Ano po yung reaction niya?
Actually, si Attorney Panelo yung dapat magpahinga. Hindi ko alam ba't siya nandito araw-araw. More importantly, di ba siya yung nagsabi, I mean, in the first few weeks of the trial, hindi ba? Di ba parang he was basically questioning the trial itself. Hindi ba? So why would you actually listen to him today? Na dapat magpahinga si Attorney Kapunan. Hindi ba? Ang dapat magpahinga si Attorney Panelo. Hindi ba?
All right, thanks. Let's recognize now, Marian.
Hello. Good afternoon po. Sir, gaano po kabigat, kaseryoso yung lumabas po kanina doon sa pagtatanong po ng Senator Judges na posible or pinag-aaralan na po ng COA na magsagawa ng fraud audit dito nga sa confidential funds, kung paano ginasta itong confidential funds ni VP Sara, lalo na kung titingnan na rin dito yung may criminal intent. Sir, gaano kabigat, kaseryoso ito?
Well, ayaw nating pangunahan no, kung ano magiging action ng COA dyan. Tulad nung nangyari before, na development with respect to grave threats, no? Na sabi nga natin, kahit nasampa na no, yung kaso na grave threat sa piskalya, separate proceedings yan ang tinutuntun dyan, yung criminal liability. At iba naman dyan, dito sa impeachment proceedings, nang tinitingnan yung fitness to remain in office. No? Pareho din naman yan dyan, dun sa COA, na possible conduct of a fraud audit. But ang mahalaga ay these two matters could proceed independently of each other. No? So, hindi naman nakadepende lang no, kung anong magiging hakbang na gagawin ng COA, no, kung ano din yung magiging takbo ng pagdinig dito, kung anong ebidensya na nailatag na namin at tuloy pa rin namin ilalatag.
Sir, how about yung posible po na ma-disallow yung kabuang 612.5 million pesos na confidential funds? Base nga po doon sa pagtatanong ni na Senator Judge Gatchalian, dahil nga raw po doon sa nalaman na ganun yung ginawa, doon sa DepEd, yung confi funds binigay ng SDOs na hindi naman dapat kasi sila yung may mandate doon.
I think that's relevant and maganda din na natanong yon para magkaroon ng kaliwanagan. No, bakit iba yung naging treatment dun sa DepEd, use of confidential funds, pati dun sa OVP. No? Maganda yung tanong kanina na sabi nga, kung pareho pala yan, no, na umamin yung mga kanikanyang mga special disbursement officers nila na inutusan sila ng Vice Presidente na ibigay itong pera nito to third persons, no? Doon kanila Colonel Chica Nolasco. Bakit yung dun sa OVP lang, yun lang ang kabuuan ng buong pondo for confidential funds na disallowed, pinayagan sa DepEd. No? At ang naging sagot ni Zailin kanina ay dahil nung binigay ang pag-amin na yan, na-issue na yung credit notice sa Department of Education. Hindi pa nangyayari yon dun sa OVP, kaya nahabol pa yan. All with respect to the 3 quarters of 2023, no? So, but sabi nga niya, dahil sa ganyang klaseng development, tinitignan din nila, pinag-aaral nila kung tama bang i-reopen ito. No, pati ibig sabihin pati yung dun sa DepEd.
Gaano po kalakas, kumbaga, para po sa inyo sa prosecution na puntos, kumbaga, itong mga lumabas ngayong araw?
Well, again, we'll leave that determination to the impeachment court. But ang mahalaga sa amin is napaliwanag ng testigo kung ano ang significance niya. No? I'll again redirect us to the statement of the witness about this. Ang sabi niya, naging cause ito ng issuance of notes of disallowance dahil para sa kanila, naging clear indication na yan ng irregularity. Bakit daw? Because it's direct violation of the prohibition, no, under the joint circular, which is that the SDO cannot transfer this funds to another person. At pinaliwanag niya na mabuti yan. Sinasabi nga niya, bakit yun mahalaga? Dahil itong SDO na to, no, tinatalaga siya specifically ng head of agency. No? Itong SDO na to is also a bonded officer. So ibig sabihin, merong security ang government kung mawala niya itong pera na to or hindi magamit, no, ng tama. But as opposed to, kaya nga sabi niya, pwedeng ilipat ito kahit hindi bonded yung tao na yan, kung siya na yung final recipient. Pero, so dapat, sabi nga niya, diretso niya tong ibinibigay from the SDO to final recipient, pero hindi pwedeng dumaan yan sa intermediary.